not even mean Bowers game for him.
Hi there, you two. We're back again today for another Thoughts from the Corner. I'm here with my good friends Adam and Lucy.
Yep.
Hey.
And today we are talking about Glass Alibi. So this is a print-on-demand game, I do believe, that is for 4 to 6 players. Doesn't say how long it is. Doesn't say the age or anything like that. But in this game, this is a really interesting storytelling game in which one person is going to be a detective, and they are going to, at the beginning of the game, lay out a crime that has been committed. And then everybody else are going to be people who are doing random things based on the cards that they were dealt. So, for instance, I had gasoline and bleach. So the detective, who was Alan, we played this 6 players, said that there was a crime, cash was stolen, somebody ran away, and then I had to look at my 2 cards and make up my alibi. But the whole point of the game is that you're going to make it up quick, and when the detective asks you questions, you're going to just be able to answer them kind of snappy. And that was one thing I didn't pick up on until halfway through the game, and I tried to shut my mouth, because I think that is a really important aspect of the game. Once everybody's done that, said what their thing was, the detective is going to give a yellow card to the person. Yep, the suspicion, which we'll get there. The suspicion card, which limits their hand size, and by doing that, kind of limits their choices on what they can say and make a cohesive story. So really, it is a game in which you're trying to come up with a story quickly and answer questions quickly based on the cards you have, and then the detective is kind of going to be the judge. And at the end of dealing out these 4 cards, you essentially play 5 rounds. You're going to do one last thing saying why you're innocent, and then the detective will pick one person who is the loser, and that person goes to jail and they get mocked. Yeah. Sound like a good, pretty much, game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
Glass Alibi. Who wants to start on the thoughts? By the way, there also is a gameplay video that is either up or will be up of us playing this on my game night, if that didn't make much sense to you.
Okay. So I enjoyed about this game making up my story, though it didn't really interact with what the main plot story was.
Yes.
No.
And I don't know if we were supposed to be linking that in somehow
we were trying,
or something.
I think Alan was supposed to one of us was supposed to try to integrate it with it or something. We could kind of just go off on a tangent, I guess. I mean, really,
if all of us were trying to do that, it would be really difficult, I think.
Well, here's the key point, and let's just get right to it. These are the rules, and these are not enough. There needed to be, at the very minimum, 1 more of these cards. And I think 1 more could have done it. But I legit read these 4 cards probably 4 or 5 times today at work, and I was so frustrated trying to understand the game that I instead just took a picture of these and then sent them out in the group text to everybody coming to game night and said, does anyone understand this? Yeah. Which luckily Alan understood it more than I did, but still there's definitely some holes, there's some things that to be left desired in these rule cards, but I don't want to stress on that too much, because I think this game is much more about the experience and the story as opposed to the gaminess of it. So you have to know that going into it. But I'll let you go back to you now that we said that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I enjoyed just making the stories. I think we had a lot of fun with it.
The main thing about this is, with a lot of, these storytelling games that, aren't really gameplay based, it's going to depend on your group. Legitimately, these are we game every Wednesday. We try to, at least. I know we know our sense of humor. We had, I guess, spoiler, if it's not out yet, Jimmy was over here, solvent making crimes.
Somebody's mad. You spoiled that game.
Yeah, probably. And, you're over here,
I always wonder what
things.
Jimmy's doing.
You're always here, burning things over here. It was fun. Because I was hanging out with you. This is not a game I would play with strangers.
Yes, and that is something that I do want to give this game. I had my own unique story where I was killing moles and hitting on my neighbor, and Adam was doing a maid and delivering meat and going on dates and going steady with her, and Lucy was a firefighter who lived in a police station, and we're laughing,
lived in a library,
and we're laughing just talking about this story. Paulie's was I thought was crap at first, but then by the end I was like, oh, that's a really good story.
She brought it right back to
she was talking about
she was sanitizing,
pretty much curing the coronavirus. And then Jimmy was a drunk driver just going around just killing people and hurting people, which actually is against the rules.
But not part of the crime.
Yeah,
but it didn't really matter, because this whole thing is just about telling a story. Like, it just gives you a framework. You're a crime, you're a detective, your friends are suspects, suss them out. What were they doing?
Yes.
It just gives you, like, little anchors. It's like, oh, I was a firefighter. Even though I kind of played that card wrong, because that should have been my alibi, but it wasn't. So
I mean, kind of like a lightweight RPG.
yeah.
It was. It's a great way to put it.
And it's just, like, a fun little thing. Like, it really just depends on your group. Like, I can't think of it right now, but, like, there's, like, games, like, similar to this. There's, like, storytelling. Like, you're given
Yes.
cards, like, you have to, like, make a story up on the fly. And, like, you have to know your group. Like, if your group is into heavy games, like, when I first read the rules, like, when you sent me the text, like, I was a little dismissive, because, like, I didn't know how it would
Let me,
react with that.
I think, I wouldn't say heavy games. If your group does not want to play a storytelling game, that is really what boils down to this. If your group does not want to play storytelling games, / they might not like the darker theme of this, because it says you're not supposed to commit crimes, but all they're giving you are, like, revolver, shovel, spies,
knife.
wedding ring, rope.
I actually like the broadness of these cards.
I did as well.
Yeah.
Because, like, some games you play like this, and it leads you in one direction.
pigeonholes.
Like,
That's good
you
point.
get this card, it leads you in one direction. This one, like, it's like you got a pair of shoes. Like, you
Well,
can be
I
like,
had
oh,
that-
I was wearing really nice boots, you know?
Well, the thing was, like for our
Or it could be
scenario, like, I had that heavy boots card, like, and we had the thing of, like, oh, he's running, and I'm like, I don't want to play that card, because, like, if I have boot shoes on, like, you can connect it to running or somehow.
Yeah, and I would like to play this as the detective too, because I think Alan had a really fun job, because your whole job then is just trying to mess with people and throw them off.
Ask
and be like,
questions, like, what were you doing with, like, a gasoline can? Like, why did you have a revolver?
Yeah.
You shot.
The more I think about this game, the more I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You kept asking, just like, is that what you're here for?
So do you have anything? Anybody else have anything else to note on it?
Not really. Like, this is you'll know if you gamed a lot at this point with your friends. Like, you're gonna know, like, if you're gonna like this or not.
You can
Yes.
make this game really fun, or it can be terrible for you.
Oh yeah,
It depends
If
on who you are.
This would be a terrible convention game. Like if you're sitting there
Oh,
with 4 or
yeah.
5 people and you're like, like I don't. Yeah, I think Lucy hit the nail on the head. You can watch the gameplay of this or just hear it, and you're gonna know if you have the game group for
Because
this. Because
I will tell you, like, I'm pretty sure, like, none of us expected this to be as fun as we had.
especially not with those rules. The rules still,
And
those need to be improved absolutely. Because I think a lot of people.
I mean, I'll be honest though, like, because we were able to, like, freely interpret it, we kind of just had more fun because we weren't even really paying attention to the rules.
But here's my thing. This game, let's say you pick this up. Let's say that they print up a whole bunch of these. You pick this up in Origins. You get on game night. You start reading this. I have to do videos for this game. But if you were sitting there and you're trying to figure this out, and you got 5 people there, and they're starting to get frustrated, they're starting to look at your phone, you're going to switch games. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Like, because this is, like, it's not like this is a $60 game where you'd be like, oh man, I feel like I have to play this game. Like, this game, yeah. So, these rules definitely need improved. Absolutely. That's, I think, the biggest issue with this game. But overall, it's a very cool game, and if you've got the game group for it, go for it. I think you'll enjoy it.
I like it.
So that is Glass Alibi from an unknown company. If it looks like it might be your cup of tea, be sure to check that one out. If you're enjoying what we're doing, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below and in the comments below. Let me know.
What's your favorite sandwich? BLT.
What's your
What's your favorite sandwich? BLT.
Adam, what's a question? You got a question? All right, if you
I
had
do
to
not
fight,
have a question.
if you had to fight a woodchuck, would you rather have a bee, like trained bees, or would you rather have a hive of trained bees or 6 trained rats, like big rats?
Oh no, hate rats. Bees, I can get honey
Fighting
from them.
woodchucks, huh?
3 woodchucks.
3 woodchucks. I'm gonna go with the rats. Woodchucks have like thick fur, so the bees aren't gonna be as effective as.
Not to mention they die as soon as they sting. So once all those bees are dead,
True.
they're dead.
I mean, there's a lot more of them though.
there are.
Yeah. I just
don't
want
know.
the free honey
Even-
from the bees.
Maybe
so.
just the sound of them will drive them away. You know?
Yeah. Buzz, buzz. That's
Yeah,
how
but
drive
Still,
me
I'm going
away.
with the rats.
Rats.
Bees.
How many rats did I say? 3 or 6? I said 6, right?
I don't
said
know.
6 rats.
Check the video.
6 rats.
You just made up like the woodchucks. You were like woodchuck.
Yeah, I was stalling.
like 3
We were stalling for
woodchucks.
time. I'm gonna go with the bees. I think the bees are gonna do it, especially because if they're trained bees, I can train them to go for the eyes. And I mean, you sting them in the eyes, it's pretty much over.
So the rats aren't trained.
Well, the rats are trained.
Have them go for the eyes.
Yeah, but the rats are smaller than the woodchuck. Or what
I
was
mean,
it?
like-
Beavers? What are we?
What are you?
What
Yeah,
animal?
why? The bees are smaller than a woodchuck.
Yeah, but you have more. So if you have 6 rats,
Yeah,
and if one of those
no,
rats
the-
goes down, you're screwed.
The rats are gonna operate like velociraptors.
Seriously, are
I
doing
mean,
this.
you saw the velociraptors take down the Indominus Rex.
But there's 3.
There's no reason.
Well, here's the thing:
Where's the
are
scenario
the
gonna come up?
beavers? Are the beavers trained? Did I say the beavers?
No.
No, he said woodchucks for
Those are
one.
woodchucks.
Woodchucks and beavers are the same
No,
thing.
they're
aren't they?
not.
I do not believe
I'm
they
gonna-
are.
Oh no, I'm
It's
thinking
no.
groundhogs. Groundhogs and woodchucks are the same thing.
What's a woodchuck? How much wood can a chuck?
Groundhogs are actually
Groundhogs
woodchucks.
are woodchucks.
Yeah,
how about
beavers are like their cousins or something.
that? Got one.
Are they trained? Did I say they were trained?
No,
No,
he
you
didn't say
said
that.
Okay, so they're
They're
untrained.
normal.
They're raw. I'm gonna go with the bees. I just think a hive of bees that are trained and you can control. Think Ant-Man with the ants.
But I mean, like, if they're both going for the eyes, aren't they like equal at that point? If they're both trained and you're like training them.
Yeah, but you can have like 10 going at your eyes as opposed to like I don't know.
I mean, if a rat goes for my. Oh.
God dang it, Lucy! Now I gotta edit. Let us know in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.
You guys got so heated. I forgot.
The hard-hitting questions.